coming at you on kind of a foggy morning here down in Robeson County, North Carolina. About 68 degrees according to my truck thermometer. Looking at the weather forecast, looks like we're gonna get some cooler weather in the mornings down here. It's gonna get hot today though. It's gonna get about 93. I think we'll peak tomorrow, and then temperatures are gonna start being in the low to mid 80s with the lows in the mid to upper 60s, i.e. fall start of it here. But I got to cut the grass one day this week, one more time at least. I have to cut it a couple more times on the weather here. Anyway, it's you, Brother Kyle. Get that out early this morning. Get on the road to work. Yeah. Those that haven't caught up, I got called to go back and teach part-time at the college again. So, started last week. I'm back out there. As Gene Autry used to sing, I'm back in the saddle again. Out where a friend is a friend. And I ain't gonna sing the rest. But got that going on. I've got a concealed carry class I'm teaching this weekend. So the business is starting to pick up. So we're staying, old soldiers staying busy. I'm talking about a few things today. One is the disgrace of a commander-in-chief puppet crap bag that's sitting up there in the White House. They had a Medal of Honor presentation this week, I do believe it was. And I'm not saying the gentleman that was awarded the medal is not undeserving, by no means. I will not take anything away from his heroic and brave actions and selfless sacrifice. What I'm going to talk about is how that dipstick just walks off the stage after he put the medal on him without even waiting for the closing benediction or anything of that nature. Just off he went. Man don't care. I mean, I don't think he knows where he's at. I'm not even sure if that's the real Joe Biden. It's obviously his handlers don't care about honor, commitment, candor, integrity, those kinds of things. For all that, for them, all this was a big eye candy show for their Communist Party. It's just sickening. I'm going to talk about border security again. I watched a video, I want to say it came out of Israel. There's a group from, I can never say the name correct, Eritrea, migrants from there that have come to Israel wanting to settle, and of course the government has given them all kinds of benefits and privilege without working for them, so the article in the video was saying. And the people started to, I guess you could say, revolt against it, and were trying to forcefully push them out. And the local police could not get it under control. I mean, we're talking about two big mobs of people throwing rocks, sticks. The point I'm getting at is if border control does not, if the federal government, president be damned, doesn't step up and do something to close the damn border, we're going to start having the same issue in those border towns. Two things going to happen. It's going to it's going to create chaos, for one, and use resources that could be going somewhere else for other aid. But the other part is going to give the chance for those sleeper cells that are coming across to move into their next point of action. What that'll be, I don't know. If y'all remember last year when the power substation here in North Carolina got knocked out, several were knocked out in Florida, do you really think that was just some dummy doing it on his own accord? If you do, you're dumber than a box of rocks. old soldier. Why are you so mean like that? What did an accident? What did the guy just do? I guarantee you somebody put those people up to doing it. I wouldn't be surprised what our own government did it through subterfuge, espionage, covert, for several reasons. It ain't good. Think about all the damn train derailments. And the fact they're still cleaning up that mess in Palestine, Ohio. Yeah, that, the federal government said to be cleaned up by June of this year. Well, June's done and come and gone, June bud. Now they're saying because of the EPA having to approve the cleanup methods, it may be next year before they clean that crap up. Bunch of horse shit. Not safe for work or children, you've been warned. But it is. It's a bunch of horse shit. There should be no way in God's green earth that it should take over almost 2 years to clean up that mess. They're dragging their feet and they're doing it on purpose. But back to those train derailments. Do you think they were all coincidental? And it's funny how that balloon come across the sky and then they shot it down over the East Coast, and then a few days later all them train derailments. People were worried about the intelligence that the balloon might have been gathering without asking the question, what kind of signal might it have been transmitting. Sleeper cells, people. I want you to think about this. Our own United States Special Forces. Let's jump back to the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. Cold War's wide open. There was a group of operators from that community that were stationed in Berlin. This is not common knowledge, but it's not necessarily classified anymore. But their whole mission set was, if the balloon went up, as we referred to it back then, meaning the Cold War went hot, they were supposed to lay low as the Red Army, the East German Army, and all the communist forces pushed westward. They were to lay low there in Berlin. Let the main body pass. They had to be proficient in German. They had very, very, very relaxed grooming standards so that they could blend in with the local populace. Okay? So that they could blend in with the local populace. And then start creating sabotage, covert operations to disrupt enemy movements, supply lines, lines of communication. Also continue to gather intelligence. Yeah, dummy, you're supposed to stop when you see the flashing lights, you dumbass. I'm sorry. I had a police officer coming from the opposite direction in the state of North Carolina. You're supposed to pull off to the side when they got their lights flashing. Dummy behind me about rear-ended me. But anyway, their whole mission was to disrupt everything behind enemy lines, gather intelligence, hamper movements, those kinds of things. Part of it was so it would allow Western forces time to reinforce Western Europe to stop the Red Horde. Okay. Same thing in South Korea. They've got units there that are designed to do the same thing in the event that the North Koreans roll all over South Korea again, which honestly, my humble opinion, that wouldn't happen because of the fact that South Korea, they're a whole lot tougher now than they were back in 1950. North Korea, even though they got volume on their side, they don't have initiative because of the way they're structured. So, but long story short, that part of that whole thing with the folks in Berlin, they would listen for coded radio signals. That was part of how they would get their orders, coded radio signals. If you've ever watched the movie The Longest Day, which talks about the D-Day invasion, there's a scene where resistance people are in their basement and they're listening to the radio and they hear John has a long mustache. That was code for them that, hey, the Allied invasion of Western Europe had begun. Again, sitting in these sleeper cells. And then with modern technology, you don't have to have a radio. All they got to do is get a burner phone and upload the phone to whatever satellites in the sky they're communicating with. And then that little balloon passes by, sends them a signal. Hey, disrupt this train here, disrupt that train there, blow up that power station here, blow up that power station there. And the fact is, the current administration is allowing it to happen, and I think by intention they're allowing this to happen. The deep state is running the real government of the country right now, is inviting it to happen because they want this nation to become communist. They want to exploit our wealth to keep our masses in poverty and elevate themselves to a higher stature in life, whatever the hell that may be. Some of y'all might think I'm off my rocker and I really don't give a rat's rear end. I'm just here to tell you there's evil at play, and if we don't wake up, they're going to be on our doorstep before we can stop them. I've already told you, they come for my crap, I'm going to die on a pile of brass. But yeah, so that's two of the things I want to talk about. People out here walking in the middle of the road. Sheesh. The other thing is, a lot of young people today, they are so far disconnected from what's going on in this world. Education-wise, our schools are failing. It's all a part of freaking communists. Trying to twist, distort, change history to what it was not. Lie about it. Kids here in America are getting dumber. Telling you folks, you don't believe me, go ask a kid how to tell time on an analog clock. I know grown adults right now that don't know how to tell time on an analog clock. They gotta look at their doggone cell phone on a digital format. I learned how to tell time in first grade. It took me a while. I caught on. Cursive writing. Half these kids today don't know how to write in cursive. Now, from what I understand, some schools have actually started to reintroduce that. Good. But now they're also teaching this stupid ass new math. I still don't understand. Nothing wrong with the way it's been taught for 100 years. I know when I was in elementary school, they tried to come up with some new way of teaching. It lasted about a year. The teachers protested to the point it went back to being taught the old-fashioned way. Oh, and the one that gets me are are these dadgum overeducated professors now saying that math is freaking racist. How the hell is math racist? I would really love to know. Because 1 and 1 is 2, and 2 and 2 is 4. That's fact. There's no, well, because, Dipstick over here has darker skin, he can't grasp that concept. No, Dipstick over there is just a dipstick because he's not paying attention. That or his mama dropped him on his head when he was a baby and didn't get him checked out. One of the three. But watching a newsreel or article, one of them things on Instagram where people run in their traps, and the girl got on there talking about how being on time is racist. Okay. Being on time to work is racist. You're just looking for an excuse because your ass don't like to get up in the morning. So you can go tell your boss that, hey, you're racist because you wrote me up for being 5 minutes late. That's racist. No. Work starts at 8 o'clock. You should be there at 7:55 minimum. The way I was taught. My daddy always said, if you're on time, you're late. If you're early, you're on time. One day he explained that to me. He said, you never know when you're going to find yourself caught in traffic, needing to turn around and go back home and get something that you forgot. Sorry about the sunlight, folks. You may have to take a detour to get to work. So that in an event something like that happens, because you've established a history of being at work early, people are not going to ponder the fact, oh, he must have just slept in. No, they're going to be like, where is he? We need to go find him. And folks, that's God's honest truth. That's God's honest truth. What I mean by that, my daddy worked as a contractor down at Fort McPherson, Georgia. He basically went back and filled his own vacancy from when he retired as civil service a few years later. And he was working with the same gentleman, group of gentlemen that he had worked with before. We were living in Chattanooga at the time. Dad was having to work in Atlanta, so he took a camper down. He was living out the camper. And so while we were there, one day his truck broke down on the interstate going to work. And one of the workers called my mom, says, have you heard from Leon? Mom, no, what's wrong? I said, well, he hadn't got to work yet. We just want to know if he called you or something. I said, no, sir, he hadn't. I said, well, let me get off here because I need to go find him. Him and 3 other gentlemen got in their vehicles, got on the road to go look for him. And the people at work were like, well, where y'all going? They said, look, he's not here, something's happened, we're going to look for him. Because why? Dad was always at work a half hour early when he went down there as a contractor. He was always there 20 minutes early when he worked civil service. Dad usually got there before everybody else, put the morning coffee on. So long story short, being on time is not racist. And I don't care anybody that says it is. If they are, they're the one that's racist. But anywho, anyhow, anyway, anywho, anyhow, it's for you, Brother Kyle. Backwards and frontwards and 3 times this morning, brother. I'm almost at work. And I have yapped way farther than I wanted to this morning. But I just need to get that stuff off my chest. So for those of you watching and listening, I appreciate it. And until I get another one out, it's your friendly neighborhood old soldier. Peace.